holy crap, dude. Like, they did such a good job on this game. There were a lot of scenes actually where they startled me. I was like, the atmospheres, the music is amazing by Akira. And then the freaking, the fog is amazingly
so beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What is up, everybody?
Hello.
Welcome to Digital Quest, the gaming podcast where we cover a broad variety of topics involved in the gaming community.
A broad variety of topics. We do like horror games, we do like indies, we do like retros, but everything and anything is on the table. Brought to you from the heart of South Texas, Corpus Christi. Happy to have you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So I'm Mike, Guitar Mike. If you want to know me by my what is it called? The pseudonyms?
Pseudonyms. Stage name.
Names. The stage, my alias.
Pseudonym.
My fancy name.
Alias, a.k.a. So you got Guitar Mike over there. Morningstar Mike, Morningstar Esquire on other things. But here, Morningstar Mike. Yeah, Morningstar Mike works. But enough about us. What is going on? You may have noticed some changes, even more changes.
Yeah. I mean, the video stuff is going good. Hopefully the quality of this one is a little bit better. We are changing up our... so last time we were using an iPhone for those people that were curious about what kind of equipment we use.
Yeah.
It was good. Except there were some hiccups with the way it was syncing up with our program. And so we are now on a Sony camera and trying to play with this. So we will see how the quality looks after the post-production.
Yeah, if you saw, like within a minute of the first episode, there was kind of like a bit of a snafu with the equipment, but this new equipment, it's so far, I love it. It's great. We can kind of see ourselves right now, so we can kind of position accordingly, and the quality is just so much better. So we got funding, we got funding. We got
the funding.
We got the sugar daddy money. No. And we got, and we're having a lot of fun. We're having a blast here, which is the most important thing. This is all building towards bigger and better things, and we're having fun along the way. So thank you for being here. Thank you for asking your questions, friends and family. We've also been reaching out a lot more to the public, haven't we?
Yeah, and that's one thing I wanted to put a note on is we've been getting more traffic as of recently, and it seems just because of people were listening to the audio only, but the video actually plays a big role. And I've heard a lot of people say, once you make the jump to video, you'll see a little bit more traffic. And we are seeing that traffic, and we appreciate you guys. And, one of the things that we would like to ask is if you're listening to this episode and you get a lot of value from it, feel free to, and I hate saying this, but I mean,
do it.
Please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and leave some comments in our comment feed, because we want to hear back from you to see, make sure we're on the right track, and if you're enjoying the topics that we speak about. And on Spotify, there is a comment section, but it's not as friendly as it would like to be.
Right. I don't think a lot of people even know you can comment on like Spotify podcasts.
I don't
Little
think
did
so.
you know.
Yeah. They don't really present themselves that they don't present that portion pretty out. They don't put it out there. It's just kind of something you find on the app, and it's hidden between all those tabs in there.
Yeah, but we're literally on so many different podcast venues, YouTube. We do TikTok a little bit, but nowhere near as prevalent as these other platforms. And we're also on a Facebook. So if you see us right now and you like what you see, like, favorite, subscribe, comment, if you will. If you're on Spotify or the other podcast venues, give us a follow. And literally, it only takes 2 seconds to like it, and that helps us so much, incredibly. That extra like gives us a bit more position on the algorithm, so that other people who like this, they can see this as well.
Yeah, and that's the one thing you noted that you made a note on is the algorithm. Everybody talks about it.
It's real.
So it is real, and it does help whenever you do either like or even when you're watching, like it detects like how much you're watching, and then they present it to other people. Like they want to know if it's interesting enough to put out to other people in that same field. And that's why, if you could do that for us, that would be amazing. And I'd find more value in the comments because I want to hear back from the community and even the new followers that we're getting.
Absolutely.
I think as of right now, I forgot the numbers we're at, but like we were at only like 9 or like 5, and now we're at like 15.
Yeah, it's jumped up exponentially, and this is for recurrent people who it's like people who are following us and are like listening to like it's like several minutes worth of the podcast. That's not to say that we're getting hundreds of listeners, but in terms of like recurring, we have like 15-ish. So if you like what you see, hop on board, join us on our digital quest, and can't believe I actually said that. No, join us on our digital quest. We're having a lot of fun, and if at the very least, give us a like, so that gives us more of a position on the algorithm, so we can continue doing this for you.
Yeah, for sure. We do have a lot of things coming up where we will dive into this a little bit more detail with our interviews, the start of our interviews, and how that is panning out so far, and also some of the other things that we're wanting to do or should make the show a little bit more interesting, instead of you seeing our faces and our ugly mugs here on the screen.
Hey, speak for yourself. Nah. Yeah, but yeah, no, sorry to detract. Yeah, we want to do other things other than just your typical podcast, get in front of a camera and a mic. This is a lot of fun. Like we said, this is something that we'd be doing anyway, but we know other people, and there's certainly a lot of other people out there who want to talk video games. They want to talk shop. They want to talk horror. They want to talk retro, like us. So that's what we're doing here. But we also want to reach out. We want to play games, and we want to show you what we're playing live. We want to stream. Isn't that right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And one of the comments that we get quite a bit from people outside of the comment sections on our videos, but they mentioned that we have great synergy between me and you, or you and I.
I tend to agree. Yeah,
and that means a lot. We were hoping to be at least somewhat entertaining, so that gives us a little bit of good feedback, and so I guess that points us in the right direction.
Yeah, we must be doing something right.
Yeah, even if we feel like we're doing poo poo on an episode, we are actually doing pretty good.
Yeah,
so,
and we're going really heavy on the advertising now. In case you may have noticed, also something very different.
Right here.
Look at that, right there. Right there. We're a gaming podcast, We're a gaming podcast. I don't know if you want to do a twirl, or should I do the twirl?
Here, I can do the...
Do it.
Twirl.
Give it to him. Show him. Yeah. There you go. Digital Quest from the heart of South Texas, Corpus Christi. Yeah, so we're so you see, we're having fun right now. We haven't even started talking about, like kind of like the king of the discussion right now of this week, Silent Hill 2, and we're just talking, we're having fun, So if you like what you see, if you're having fun, if you enjoy our presence, if you want to see more, just follow us and give us a like. It means the world to us.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we would like to provide is, once we get a larger community that partakes into our feeds and everything, that's these shirts are cool. They're not just like a gimmick. It's actually something that we talked about from the very beginning. And we've been doing this for how long? Since July or June?
Since about July,
June,
maybe late June. Yeah,
it was late June, because I know we went to the Austin convention, Retro Game Fest, and that was our 3rd episode. So yeah, we were late June. And the first thing, even before this was incepted, the whole show, was that one day we would like to have our own shirts and promote ourselves, and we are taking it seriously. Excuse me, I'm drinking some coffee, so we are taking it seriously. We're not just, aside from us doing this for fun, we are going to be actually wanting to do more with it, and that's why we're trying to bring more content, because we would love to involve a lot more people into it, interview wise, or even just people will come on our journey with everything that we're talking about and share your experiences. And so basically build this into a bigger little community of gaming enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And so we're really excited for that. And, I've only just been seeing us grow on all our social media. They're starting to pop off. People are loving the videos, the shorts that we make. And we can't thank you enough for all the support y'all give us. Whoever's out there that actually supports us on all the platforms. And the one thing I want to note before I forget, so I did mention that, so we are going video, obviously, right? The places that you can find our video feeds, because not all of the streaming platforms allow video, like Spotify allows video, and YouTube. Those are the main sources where we put out our video content. But aside from that, like if you go to Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, I believe they only get the audio feeds. And there is no way to upload a video that I'm aware of. I mean, I would probably need to double check, but I think the last time I checked, it didn't allow us to.
Right.
So yeah, unfortunately, those people who listen on those platforms, I hope you still enjoy the audio podcast. But if you want to see us visually, go to YouTube or Spotify.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
Wanted to get that out of the way.
Gotcha. Yeah. Reach out to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just a quick, I guess, before we get into the meat of the discussion, have you been up to anything interesting as of late?
Yeah. So I've been on a more personal, aside from gaming, I've been trying to build a shed, or I've been building a foundation to put the shed on. And that was a fun experience. Did it with a family member of mine, and that was interesting. I always love learning new skills, and I mean, I like to think of myself as I like to do a lot of everything, and I've done woodwork before. It's just it's been a while, and I've learned that my measurement calculations in my head are very, very off. I am so bad at math when it comes to freaking that kind of work. And I won't go deep into it because it's going to make me, you're going to just laugh at me. Yeah. But anyway, so I've been working on that. And also I've been picking back up on my Whatnot.
That's awesome.
I jumped back into the community. Last week I did a show and a lot of things have changed. One of the things they added was this reward system. If you think about like I don't know if a lot of local game stores do this, but you build points and or not really points. They're kind of like milestones.
Yeah.
So like they have this bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and diamond tiers, right? And the reward system is so like if you go on bronze, right? Like if you meet that those milestones, they give you like 5% off or $5 off in your next purchase, and so on, etc. into the different tiers. And that was pretty cool because that was one thing I was doing in my shows. Mm-hmm. It was like, but just like saying like, hey, if you buy 3 or more games, I'll give you like 10% off of your order.
Right.
After you have bought 3 games. And so now that they brought this into the reward system, it makes it so much more easy for people to do that.
Right.
And it also makes it more enticing for them to want to get to the next tier if they love your content. And I was really appreciated because a lot of people actually were in my when I say a lot, it's not when I think of like extremely a lot of people, like the famous people, they have like but hundreds and hundreds of people.
I mean, relative to your situation,
I'm happy if I have a consistent like 7 to 10.
That's good.
That's like a local little group there that are actually, and they were just listening because like most of the time I have all my stuff listed in the in the inventory.
This is all inventory. This is all for sale. If you see my Whatnot, this is all for sale here.
Yeah. This is not an ad for Pixels Game Vault, but yeah.
Brought to you by Pixels Game Vault. No. So they added this system and Whatnot, and that basically promotes return customers, returning, what do you call it? Repeat sales, or what do you call it? Yeah.
Yeah, and so I used to throw everything in this thing called a buy it now, or AKA a bin, and it allows you. It's basically like you go into a store, being able to pick a game out and purchase it right out. But I didn't have anything in my my store, so it was just blank, and people were just sitting there watching me, and caring about the games there, and it was just a consistent 7. And I was like, wow, this. I forgot how this felt like, for people just to be there, just listening to you and just, appreciating your content.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I popped in. I've been busy as of late. I do apologize. But I did pop in and I did see that people popped in and then they stayed there and they just listened to you. And it seemed like good. It seemed like a good, healthy discussion. And like you clearly know what you're selling and you clearly enjoy it, so it's very good to see people engaging.
So that was a fun experience again, and I will be picking it up again probably let me see, we're Friday. No, this weekend's pretty busy, but I'll probably be doing it next weekend.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I'm pretty stoked. One of the plans I had was to do a Halloween show with a bunch of horror games. You know what was funny?
I got to be there for that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Well, you were there for this past show. Like I had a bunch of horror games on the table, and
you sold that Vampire Hunter D, you bastard.
Yeah. But what was strange, like not a lot of people were like asking about the horror games.
Yeah.
I said, hey, all horror here on the table, and I thought horror was like pretty popular with everybody. Like that was one of the things they were looking for, and hardly any people asked about it. And I'm like, okay. Kind of threw me off for a little bit. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like if you go at it again, you'll get it because horror especially is in vogue now. I don't want to reach ahead, but horror is very much like in the mind of the gaming community. So I'm pretty sure that the next time around, I feel like you'll get some people who'll take who'll bite onto that.
But yeah, I mean, but otherwise it was really good. So that's what I've been up to. And aside from that, I mean, obviously we're both playing Silent Hill 2. So
Silent Hill 2.
yeah, so good.
Yeah. Do you want to start talking about that, or do you want to?
Okay, we got one more thing before we start talking about that.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Minor spoilers. Yeah.
Minor spoilers. Yeah. One of the other things we wanted to start doing to expand on our channel is we've had this idea. I mean, it's a pretty simplistic idea. I mean, a lot of people are doing it, but more on an individual basis. Basically streaming gameplay, right?
Yeah. Everyone and their mother is streaming, but we want to do it a bit more.
Yeah, we want to do like a couch co-op stream where even if we're remote, we can couch co-op a game and just like not necessarily play with each other, but like I'll backseat watch, Mike playing, or he could backseat watch me playing, and we kind of make commenting on the gameplay, and also like what was that show? The Science Theater 3000
Mystery Science Theater.
Right?
Yeah. You got the show going on, and then you got these people heckling just kind of in the background.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Just I'll be doing a thing, and then you can be giving advice, but also be like, why is he doing that? What's Pyramid Head doing to those nurses? My God,
yeah.
So that's the thing I've noticed. It's a very good point. It's like streamers. It's usually a one man or one woman show. That's it. It's like look at me, look at me, look at me. Versus no, like we're having fun here.
Yeah.
It's not. This is not a look at us. It's listen to us. Be part of the discussion, so to speak. So we kind of want to translate that, if that's fair to say, onto streaming. Look at us, have fun with us. Don't look at us, have fun with us.
Exactly. Yeah, and a lot. I took a piece of that from the conversation we had with the leave ending, which we'll get into in a little bit because that
minor
episode,
spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's actually out, right? Oh yeah, so it technically is a spoiler, but hopefully a lot of people have listened to it already.
But we're having fun, and this came with an interview from a Twitch streamer, and from that discussion we've had thoughts. In case you haven't noticed, we're people with thoughts, and whether or not we act on it, how quickly we act on them, it can be a struggle, but we never abandon it. Okay, and this is certainly something we're now going to bring it to fruition, streaming. And I think speaking with the leave ending, as we will talk about more about in depth, that was fruitful and bringing about this decision.
Yeah, and aside from the gameplay, we also wanted to stream what we're doing now, onto a platform, either Twitch or YouTube. I know Twitch is pretty much a beast, but I mean that would be knocking two birds with one stone. You know? Just kind of having this available after the fact to be released on a platform, but also have people joining in while we're doing this and sending us questions and. Maybe get a little bit more feedback that way. So
hell yeah.
People would be like, "Hey, what you said was pretty stupid," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I know. Sometimes I speak out my ass, but
no." So we're coming at you with a lot of new stuff, and we're having fun throughout the entire time.
Yeah, we ain't stopping. So we are gonna be consistent, and that's one of our the key things we are sticking to is being consistent. So
yes, sir.
And it's definitely paying off. So thank you guys again. But yeah, I mean, what were we gonna get into? Oh, the Silent Hill 2. So Silent Hill 2 impressions.
Front and center, Silent Hill. You want to go first?
Oh, yeah, dude. It's a funny thing. When we were talking about it last week, it came out Tuesday, right? Physically.
Well, for Sunday,
no,
Mr. Moneybags.
Well, this is money. So this is it came out Tuesday physically, right?
Physically, it came out to this Tuesday, correct?
This past Tuesday.
This Tuesday.
We're still in the week, right?
Yeah, we're still in the week.
Yeah. Sorry,
the most recent Tuesday from October the 11th.
Yeah. So this kind of helps clarify like what I'm about to say.
Go for it.
So I found out, the game was going to be early release through the deluxe edition on Sunday. Saturday night at 10 p.m. Or 11 p.m. I can't remember.
Substantially close to Sunday.
Yeah, so it was last week. It was Thursday or Friday, and I was like, oh, yeah, Friday, I remember. And I was like, man, I don't want to be that guy that partakes in the early access because I don't need a deluxe. I don't need it. I don't need it. Right?
I need it. You know what to do in post production.
Yeah.
We got to do that, man.
Dude, that was exactly what I was going through that day, and I was like, "Oh,
Dude,
okay,
my guy." So,
we're
in
gonna
case
do
you
this.
haven't noticed, in case you haven't been with us for that long, Mike is a video game preservationist at the very least. He's a video game archivist. No, like
I have a museum, museum of games.
yeah, behold my collection.
$5 entry.
So I'm like, okay, so Silent Hill 2 means a lot to me. I want it preserved in case there's another falling out between Konami and the people that are doing business with Bloober. And when they pull it from the PlayStation Store, I at least want to have a physical copy. And I'm thinking, this guy, he's the gaming archivist, the preservationist. He's going to buy a copy. He texts me. He's like, hey, I got the digital copy. I'm like, you bastard.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, he's going to hate me when I text him because I was like, yeah, I'm going to get to play the game tonight.
Yeah.
And he was like, you bastard.
I pop in Silent Hill 2 into my PlayStation 5. I'm like, yes, I'm going to try it. And then guess what? It's like friends who play Silent Hill 2. And then your username. I'm like, you bastard.
Yeah. I was very hypocritical at that point. I was like, oh my
But hey,
God.
you know what?
I was bashing, the whole early access, and then here I am buying the early access. So I'm a hypocrite.
Do as we say, not as we do. But you know
I just
what?
couldn't help it, man.
I forgive you. It's Silent motherfucking Hill 2.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's besides the point. That was just the funny story about it. But yeah, man, it is. Like in my opinion, I think I in the last episode when we spoke with the leave ending, I spoke that Silent Hill 1 was my favorite overall.
No,
just because of the way the timing of when it came out and how it just in my brain, like how it resonates, how I think about it. The infamous school setting when you're going in through all the hallways. That was like, every time I think of Silent Hill 1, that's what I think, or Silent Hill in general, I think of that. Yeah. But not to say like Silent Hill 2 was bad. I love Silent Hill 2. It's just came out at a different time and that didn't resonate as much as one. But anyways, the game that I remember back then, it was already creepy enough as it is.
Yeah.
And holy crap, dude. Like they did such a good job on this game because I was playing, my wife was kind of doing her thing in the background and I was playing there, and there were a lot of scenes actually where they startled me. I was like, the atmosphere, the music is amazing by Akira. And then the fog is amazingly
so beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like I thought it was going to be like not to our expectations, to where it was going to be a little bit more muddy and not so great looking, but it played a big role.
It's cool how the fog seamlessly rolls back as you approach it.
Yeah, and it's like you can't even see like past what's like right
it's
here.
Beautiful.
It's like blurred out and everything. I'm like, oh, this is so good.
It's crazy what started out as taking advantage of a technical limitation for like processing, loading purposes, how they turn that into like an actual art form.
Yeah.
Right. It's literally, it's going to sound weird. It's going to sound kind of almost pathetic if you're not that big into games, in which case it's like, what are you doing here? But no, welcome. It's like the fog is beautiful. Mm-hmm. Going through the fog of Silent Hill 2 is beautiful. It's realistic, but it's also very eerie. It's everywhere. It's encroaching. It's invasive. And then as you move through the fog, it rolls back in a very ominous way. It's again, I'm a grown ass man talking about fog, but it's beautiful to look at. It's beautiful to traverse. Props to Bloober team.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I mean, it's not that you're a grown ass man talking about fog. Like there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there are even times like out here where I live, like in the mornings, where the fog just sits on the ground.
Yeah.
It's like so amazing to think of the science of how that works, and then every time I see that, it just reminds me of Silent Hill. But playing the game, going through it yourself. And all the different changes that they made, like being able to go into buildings now. There were times where I was like, I wonder if I can go into this shop. And then once you get a weapon, you can kind of bash windows. And then there was actually a couple of shortcuts that I was able to find. I'm like, oh snap, I can go in here and I can find extra stuff. And that was a nice touch.
Yeah, it felt lived in. It felt like an abandoned resort town in New England. It felt lived in. It felt it was awesome to be able to do that. You know?
Yeah, so their setting. So setting is one. I believe there's like maybe 4 things that I want to touch on. So the setting is great. It's definitely very ominous and just makes it so creepy. So the music, number 2, is on point with everything. Even though it's like a lot of not remixes, but like remastered versions of or remake versions of the old ones.
Yes,
obviously it's Akira's music, so it's he just made it better.
Yeah.
And so then 3, the voice acting is really good.
You're taking it right out of my mouth. Yes. Yes.
James, whenever he talks, he has like this like that kind of
he's got a rasp.
Raspiness.
He's got a rasp.
It's like Mary.
I guess
and I'm
I
like,
don't care.
oh.
Yeah,
it's just like so good whenever he's like saying these dialogues, and it's even when you get further in the game when he starts talking about different things, and he's like, oh, you're not Mary, and like he has so much emotion into his like
a letter. Oh, yeah, I'm like, oh my god, they so nailed the depression.
yeah. And so there's that. The dialogues and the voice acting is great, and then the obviously the facial expressions that he makes, because I pay attention. I like watching like how the evolution of the way facial expressions are made, because I think the mocap system does a really good job of doing that.
The guy who does the voice does the mocap. Yeah, so it's very seamless.
And like there are times whenever he's just like, whenever he is questioning something, he'll kind of like squint, and you can see little minor like,
I love it.
Like he's freaked out. And it's funny because when you think about it, when he's going through the town and he's like he's nonchalantly going through the town, not even being like so. When you encounter your first enemy, right after the fact, he's like, okay, let's go to the next thing. And I'm still looking for Mary. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you cool with this? Like,
how are you cool with this?
Yeah. And it's like, I would have been like, I'm fucking out of here. I need to get out.
Yeah.
Mary.
Yeah, well, it was nice knowing you, Mary.
Yeah.
I looked for you. I tried.
Well, have fun in your special place.
Yeah, it's not my special place, not anymore.
Yeah.
No, you definitely hit it there. You said there was a 4th one, dude.
Yes, the horror aspect of it, and
somehow they preserved it and they made it better
and did it more. Yeah, they added more to it.
Added more to it.
So a lot of parts where I got startled quite a bit, where you're walking through. It's totally silent. I mean, you can obviously your radio, like in the old one, it would kind of like get staticky.
Yeah.
But in certain areas, like the music would just go dead silent, and I'm like,
oh no.
Even like when you have the flashlight and the flashlight dies, and I'm like,
no.
I'm like, no.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. The music is already creepy and ominous as it is, but then you kind of become used to it. You kind of use it as like a sign to show, like, okay, there is something that you need to be looking out for ahead. But then when the music goes out, it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no,
dude. Oh my god. And then there were just weird things that happen too, where they add little things where you can be walking through going to a room, and then all of a sudden you hear like a whisper, like, and it's like, did somebody just say something?
That's straight out of the original second game. That was creepy as hell.
Yeah. And then they even make it more creepy because like the setting, like when it gets so dark, and then you're like, just it happens at a very off-centered point of where, because the way I think of things, everything happens in patterns on even numbers of timing. So like on 2, 4, 6, 8, right? Like if you're thinking in seconds.
Yeah.
But like on the off number, so like it'll be like 7 seconds into what you're doing, you're not expecting anything to happen, but all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah.
And even the enemies are kind of, they're really aggressive, so that makes it even more creepy. And I thought the fighting system was going to be tacky, but they did a good job with that.
They did a very good job.
I actually feel the weight of whenever I'm attacking the enemies, and the emotion behind it. He summons his like inner Isaac Clarke to kind of.
You're taking the words right out of my mouth. Yeah. Absolutely. It's you can feel the emotional baggage that this guy has. He dreads being here, but he wants to be here, and nothing's going to get in his way. So, bang, get out of the way. Get out of the way. You feel it, especially with the haptics on the on the PS5 controller. You could feel the vibration,
Even some of his dialogue whenever he does that, like the one things that was really cool is it wasn't just a straight up like not a monotone, but like a certain volume of his voice where he was like, like they didn't use over and over. They didn't use that same bite over and over.
Yeah.
There were actually like 3 different dialogues where like one, he'll sound like he's breaking his voice a little bit. He's like,
Yeah.
not like that, like, but like trying to screech his voice a little bit. Like he's just so like aggressive and just stomping. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I could feel the emotion.
I kind of at one point. So I'm at the part right now currently when you go into the I think it's the Riverside or West Side apartments, and I will tell you right now, Silent Hill right now is devoid of life. Okay, I made sure of that.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's almost like he kind of not enjoys it, but it's like he's kind of dead inside. If you know why James is there. And then when you're taking out all these straitjacket, I think that's what they're called. Like they
is that the name of the monster?
Yeah, they're like tied up. They don't have any arms.
Somebody commented and said, "Man, that looks like a pee-pee."
Yeah,
like whenever he's like spitting.
Yeah.
I was laughing my ass. I was like, no, I'm gonna start looking at it.
No, I can't stop. And then when they open up the little like orifice thing to like spit out the thing, I'm like, oh, okay, so you got a double. Yeah, there's a lot of imagery associated with that.
Yeah,
but anyway, it's like when you feel like it's like I feel like he's almost kind of enjoying this. This is almost kind of cathartic, you know. So, but that's a sort of angle to this story, to this gameplay that you don't get in the original. That is only made possible because of Bloober Team in this new game.
Yeah. And then just to end on this last note, I don't want to go too crazy. I mean, I know people are going through it for the first time, so hopefully you're enjoying the game as much as we are.
We're trying to keep it as vague as possible story-wise.
But there is a level, the apartments. So when you get there, that whole entire level of itself is pretty creepy. A lot of things that I totally forgot happened in the first one, even stuff that didn't even happen, like those pop up, especially the scares, dude, because like a lot of the areas are dark, like super dark, and I don't know if it's because, so I have HDR for these gaming the gaming nerds out there that are very savvy into like settings and stuff, like HDR, it makes the blacks look more black, right? I think that's the whole purpose. It makes the more colors look more natural, more emphasized and natural. I guess that's what the whole purpose. It's like high definition.
I take your meaning. Yeah.
I forgot what the HDR stands for. But anyways, like it actually plays a big role until when I'm playing on my TV. It's because my TV is capable of that. And then so all the darks literally look super dark, and it's hard for me to look at everything. And I don't want to adjust it because that's the way it should be.
Yes. Yeah. No.
And so I guess that added to a lot of the suspense, especially with the mannequins. Oh my god, dude! Like they are, they're fucking creepy, dude. Like, and they're quick. Like they'll be like, you can tell, you can go around the corner. Which one of the things that happened is, I saw one around the corner. I was like, all right, I know what's happening here. I see you right there.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that came out of nowhere. I'm like, god damn it! And they're twitchy fast.
Yeah.
So you can see it, and even if you catch one, right? Like if you point your light at it, it'll be like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So, but all in all, I am enjoying it. I'd give it, dude, like probably 9 or 10. I mean, I haven't gone through the whole game, but like so far, it's a 9 out of 10.
Those numbers right there, you're already at a 9 or a 10, and that's good because you expressed earlier the advertisements. It seemed like they were actually doing a very decent amount of advertising.
Yeah, so I was worried.
Yeah, if a gaming company or even like a movie advertises, their stuff this aggressively, let's say, it kind of begs the question: okay, what are you hiding? Are you trying to pull the wool over eyes? Like, what's going on here? It's like you're giving us a package and you're putting it in such like shiny gift wrap. You're doing that because what's inside is potentially bad. No, they delivered. They delivered a good product here. A genuine product that, to kind of go into what I like about it. Somehow they found a healthy balance between keeping the old stuff alone while also, adding some new things and respectfully changing some things about the old stuff to make it fresh and to make it very easy to relate to. The music the music has been updated. It's still the same songs, still the same score, same beats and all, but there's like different notes in there. So I feel like Akira Yamaoka wants us to like kind of approach things a little differently. He's literally had 20 years to think about how he could redo things. And so when I hear these scores and with these little notes, I'm like, I'm feeling similar things but different. That's crazy, you know, and the very beginning of the game, this is not a major spoiler. It starts with James in the little restroom of the Lake Toluca overlook, right? And in the music, I think Promise Reprise starts playing, and no, it's not Promise Reprise. It's
No, that one's
one.
a little bit later.
Yeah, but it's a different one. Dang it! My fandom. Yeah, people are like, get him out of here. No, but the music starts playing, and then you got James, and he's looking over, and he's doing his little monologue, and when the music starts playing, a tear came to my eye. I'm like, it's like Welcome Home. In my mind, the message like Welcome Home popped up, but it's also like, we have new things for you. Yeah. Because of the old school music, but with the different notes. It was just so beautiful. And a lot of the music, some of it was unchanged. So like when you're going through the forest to get to the cemetery where you meet Angela Orozco, I think that music was exactly the same. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm back.
Yeah.
You know, it was a very, the whole time I felt like, welcome back. But we have some new things for you, you know?
Yeah. So definitely really good. And then on the last thing is they added these little nuggets because they've shifted the way certain things in the game where it's not a total replica of the first one.
Yes.
And when you find these, you know, because when you encounter your first enemy, it's not the way you encounter a first enemy in the first game.
It's
sorry, in the old game.
Right.
So in the new game, when you see that particular area that resembles the way that you encounter in the first game, you can actually go to these little areas and like click something, and the screen flashes.
Yeah.
And so like that's how when I first encountered it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Are they going to add these things where like they were in the original, but this is like how it deviated from?
Right.
I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, those are collectibles. They're called Glimpses of the Past. Yeah, if you go to so some things are remixed, as he said, and then if you go to the original location where this quasi, not really, but kind of important event happens, you get that little screen and that little music playing in the background, and the point is for like old school fans like us, it gives us a chance to like reminisce about where we were and then how you know where we are now. You know, I love that.
Yeah,
it pays homage. It's like we change things, but we acknowledge that this is where it started from. I love that.
Yeah,
homage.
So that was a beautiful touch to the game as well. But hopefully y'all are enjoying it, whoever's playing it, and we will hope to talk a little bit more on it once we actually finish our playthroughs. And at that point, hopefully everybody has finished it on their own, so we can go over some spoilage more.
Just real quick, props to the guy who plays James Sunderland.
Yeah, really
You're
good
amazing.
job.
You did
really
good
job.
It beats the fuck out of the Mary. It's it's like, Mary. Yeah. Oh my. It's just. Oh my God. But anyway, enough about that.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of those conversations we actually had with the leave ending in our previous episode. So the one that just got dropped today, this morning actually, and thank you for the responses, because I mean, it seems like a lot of you love that episode, and that was one of our things that we wanted to do. We wanted to bring other people on the show to talk about their experiences and get a lot of value from that as well, instead of just getting value from just our perspectives. And you know, so
we had an audience drop in a little late into the video, but nonetheless, it was good to have a live audience for once. You know. Yeah.
So when we were talking through the Silent Hill stuff, you know, he had a lot of insight to bring on why that game is an important game in his life, and just like how it's important in your life, and how, you know, Silent Hill as a series has been important in my life. You know, that's shaped the way that I look at horror games. Honestly, like, I mean, Resident Evil was always a big one for me, like hands down. Another great game, but Silent Hill, I just love I love when games are really messed up. Like they have like a very twisted kind of like plot.
Yeah.
And
it takes you to places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Silent Hill does that well, especially because the music plays a big role in it too. So yeah, we had a good conversation with him, and able to talk through a lot of what certain thing, how the personification of different things happen in the games and what they mean. Kind of bring it more to light, at least for me, because these this guy over here is pretty much lore central with that, and so whenever I have questions, I'm like, what does this mean? Is that what that's supposed to mean?
He'll text me like, did this happen in the previous movie? I'm like, yes, no, no, or not the way you think. Yeah. But happy to be the lore guy.
I remember all just like the key points, not just the whole entire game. My brain
As you
can
probably should. Yeah. I'm a useless dump of information, but when it comes to Silent Hill and all that stuff, I absorb all that stuff because it means, as you said, it means a lot to me. It meant a lot to the Leave ending, and the series means a lot to you.
Yeah. So,
what I liked about that interview was I learned. We talked about Silent Hill a lot, but we also talked a lot about other things. But with regards to Silent Hill, it gave me an appreciation for like the other endings of the game, and of course you get the other endings based on your behaviors and your actions in the game itself. So I think I've made it clear before, and especially if you watch that episode, which I strongly recommend, I think the in water ending is the canon ending. And in water, if you're not aware, is kind of a major spoiler, but basically without getting into
it's the happy ending. Right?
No, in water. No.
Oh, sorry, in water.
It's the most depressing one. It's. But I feel like it's the one that is most, in my humble opinion, the most appropriate one. And you get that ending if during your playthrough you take damage, but you don't heal up quickly. You just kind of take it. You're a glutton for punishment. You read like dark messages, dark notes often. And basically, you keep yourself in a dark place throughout the entire game, and I just think that kind of makes sense. And in my opinion, I think that's the best one. However, the Leave ending, actually love the positive ending, Leave, which is just play normally and have James Sunderland learn his lesson, having gone through purgatory, which is Silent Hill, and at the end, I came out of that interview with a deeper appreciation for it, because I don't want to go too far into the interview, and this kind of gets deeply intimate and personal.
Yeah.
But I've gone through my own sort of trauma. The Leave ending has gone through his own sort of trauma, and we've all walked out of it different people, and I think better people. And Silent Hill is a way for us to kind of reminisce and to kind of go back to those dark places. And having gone there, I think In Water makes sense. Whereas him, Leave ending makes the most sense. And I love that. Two people, reasonable people, can look at the same object and have two different but fair opinions. And it was an absolute pleasure getting that and realizing that important fact from the Leave ending. That was just amazing. That was great.
Yeah, it was great. So thanks again for joining us, and we hope we're looking forward to having you on again in the future. So brace yourself. We have a lot more questions to ask, and hopefully you'll be willing to jump in again. So to close on the Silent Hill, the one thing that I didn't get to bring up on that segment during that episode, and I brought this up to you offline, was because we talk about how Silent Hill 2, and there's meaning behind why James is going through the things that he's going through, because Silent Hill molds itself to the punishment that the player deserves.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And
that's a fair way of putting it. Yeah.
But when I think of like part 1, 3, and 4, the game is more. Well, I would say not 4. 1 and 3. I
think I know what you're about. 4 to an extent. I think I know what you're about to say. Yeah.
So the plot of the story was supposed to be around this cult.
The cult,
the cult theme of the game. Where,
the people who entered Silent Hill wasn't because they wanted punishment, but because of the cult.
Yeah. So the cult was basically doing this black magic stuff to where it cursed the town, and then obviously they're trying to summon this deity, the Valtiel, right? That's the one that they worship.
I think it's God. It's literally Valtiel is like a servant. Sorry, here.
Okay.
Fucking nerd. Yeah, they're trying to summon God. Valtiel's like a servant, trying to bring that about.
See, so this is why I love having you here.
Yeah, but they are trying to summon a deity. You are correct.
Yeah. Because I that was one of the things that I took away is like when I read the synopsis and the plots, they were mentioning Valtiel, right? And so he is not himself the god. He's a proponent of
correct. Yeah. So like in Silent Hill 3, if you die and you lose all your health, there will be like a game over screen and then kind of like a post credit to it where it shows like this guy, this deformed guy, dragging the body of Heather Mason off screen. That's Valtiel.
Oh shit! I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Wow, I gotta go back to the game.
And the point is that he's supposed to revive you and take you back to the last checkpoint, so that because it's all important to the creation of God, which is the plot of Silent Hill 1 and 3.
Yeah. Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, sorry, not to detract from what you're saying. It's about the cult and what they want to do, and it's not so much about the guy wanting to be punished.
Right, and Silent Hill Origins, right? That was another game that partakes into the whole storyline of this
Deeply, yes.
Obviously with Dahlia Gillespie and Alessa.
Yes.
The whole game was focused around Alessa, right? That they were trying to utilize her to be the portal for this god to be born.
Correct.
And when I tried to think, I was like, does Silent Hill have a reasoning, or did it mold itself to Harry Mason? And then you mentioned it was like, no, that didn't happen to him. It actually it wasn't a psychological factor in those particular games. It was more straight up in your face, like this is the plot of the cult going on. But then 2, that's where it changed the story. Maybe as well as 4, where it made it more psychological to where now it got me to think. I'm like, oh, wow, I was thinking about Silent Hill in this specific way. And now it kind of shifted my mindset on like the way that the town just works.
Yeah. No, and that was the cool thing about the conversation too. Like there are some people who would prefer the more straightforward cult storyline. Silent Hill is such a hellish landscape. Who in their right mind would want to be there? And so like you got Harry Mason, and then you think you get Henry Townsend, if I'm not mistaken.
Townsend, that was on part 4.
For part 4. And then of course Heather Mason. They want nothing to do with Silent Hill, as I'm sure most of us, you the people watching, you and I mean, I talk about Silent Hill like I love it, and I know every back corner and all that shit. But really, if I were there, I'd be scared the fuck out.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense. I want my Silent Hill to be. I want it to make more sense. I want it to be about the cult, and there's a whole lore there that I still don't know a whole lot about. And so yeah, Silent Hill 2 is cool in that you actually have a person who wants to be there. But I do understand, and I appreciate even more your opinion, where it's like let's talk about the cult.
Yeah,
that's what
though somebody made a mod of Silent Hill being sunny and bright.
I saw that, yeah.
Dude, that's so funny, dude.
Yeah, Fog Be Gone or whatever. They called it Loud Hills, I think.
Yeah, it was like a super like happy looking Silent Hill game. I'm like, oh my God, somebody finally did it.
Someone finally did it. Man, there's people already modding Maria. Shame on you.
Oh man,
shame on you, you bastards.
I haven't seen it, but I would only imagine.
Yeah, so at first it started pretty innocent. They're trying to give her back the original outfit she had in the original game, and then also the outfit she has in Dead by Daylight, which is basically what she had the original game. But now it's getting carried away.
Yeah, well,
come on.
Yeah,
Listen. Shame. Or what's that part from The Walking Dead? I know what kind of man you are.
This is a PG-14 show. Come on, guys.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, no.
No, but wait till you get to that part with Maria, because there is a certain...
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, it plays the same way like the old one, but there's little nuggets that they throw in that you're like, look at that, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, they show that in the trailer. Like I said, like it's the same. They're using literally the exact same words as they did in the first game, but the tonations and the actors they got are so good. And again, they have had 20 years to think about how to make changes to it. Same words, little different connotations.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah. So overall, like, dude, just love Silent Hill. Silent Hill is just
if
really
you
great.
Not picked it up, try it.
Yeah. There's so many games in the series, but you can literally I mean, some people would probably argue that, not to play the older ones or the newer ones, sorry, because they kind of detracted from the story. So if I had to make my recommendation, you can give your recommendations shortly after. But I would say if you're just getting into Silent Hill, do Silent Hill 2. It's already out, it just came out, so you wouldn't have to pay an arm and a leg to play it. Or if you're savvy with doing emulation, go that route and play Silent Hill 1. Start there. But what would be your suggestion?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're listening to this, you're probably in with current gaming, in which case you probably have a PS5. And if you don't, if you have an Xbox, Silent Hill 2 will be out. This is not sponsored by Microsoft, by the way. Silent Hill 2 will be out on Microsoft within a year. It's just a 1-year exclusivity thing. So I strongly recommend you try Silent Hill 2. If in the meanwhile you want to play something else, still Silent Hill related, I would strongly recommend that you take a look at the HD collection. Now, mind you, there's a lot of people already typing like, "How dare you recommend the HD collection, guys?" It's fine. It's not a perfect remaster, but it gets the job done. The story's still a landmark.
You can still play it, right?
Yeah, it's like what are you bitching about?
It's just the controls, maybe. I mean, okay, they were shitty from the beginning. Dude, I mean, they were tanky.
Back in 2001, the controls weren't that good.
Yeah,
but what makes those games landmarks is the story. If you want a good story, try those, and it's backwards compatible on Xbox One. I strongly recommend.
Okay.
Yeah, and it comes with a third one.
Yes. Yeah. So 2 and 3. Yeah. So great.
2 and 3.
So good couple of games there for you to jump into.
Yeah. And
so
Pixels Game Vault is selling Origins. That one's also good.
That one actually is really good.
It is good. It's got a Pyramid Head Stalker-ish. Yeah.
Yes. I think.
Yeah, the Butcher.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one.
I'll have you know. No,
yeah.
Sorry. So anyway. Yeah.
What are the game are we excited about? Speaking of horror, there was another announcement that came out.
There's been several. Yeah.
Alien Isolation.
Alien freaking Isolation 2 people. We did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah, I know you mentioned it. You're like, hey, they're making I just beat Alien Isolation this year or last year, one of those two. And man, that game was it probably didn't hit me as hard as like other people. Like I was more just like I just want to get over with it because I'm not very much of a stealth guy.
Yeah,
I hate being stealthy a lot of the times, and I was like, but I can appreciate the game. Like I'm not gonna shit on it because I didn't enjoy the stealth factor. But
did the alien scare you at the very least?
There were times whenever there was like maybe like one or two where it actually scared me because I was off guard. I was like, what am I going to do in this? Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my God, you bastard.
Yeah.
I put down the motion detector for 1 second and here you are.
Yeah. But most of the time I was all like, really? You're going to freaking get me after that? Like my little toe is sticking out from under the desk and you're going to catch that? I'm like, but yeah, it's very...
The AI is so intelligent in that game. Even on the easiest difficulty, it's so intelligent. It will find you eventually. Yeah. I told you how the AI works on that game, right?
I believe so. But you can explain it.
Yeah.
Again.
So what makes me excited about Alien Isolation 2 is the fact that the first game is a landmark in horror gaming in terms of enemy design. There's several defeatable enemies in the form of like robots, but there's one enemy that's constantly stalking you through the entire game, and you cannot kill it. All you can do is run.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you can't even run. You have to crawl. Yeah, you can crawl.
I thought you can run.
You can, but it's extremely inadvisable to do
because
that.
You make a lot of noise.
Yeah, it will. If literally, it's the alien as we've seen in the movie. It has a weak sense of sight, but a strong sense of heat.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
If you're running, it's going to detect your heat and perspiration, and also like hearing. So it's going to hear you like. So you can't even run from it. You have to just slowly inch away from it. And what I'm trying to say is that the game is a landmark because it implements 2 AI systems in one enemy unit. There's one AI which knows exactly where you are at all times, and then there's another AI that's kind of playing 20 questions throughout the entire time, asking where's the player. And so as time increasingly passes, and if you stop moving, the AI will give the alien more hints, and eventually it will lock you down to an area. It will lock you down to a room. And then if you're just camping in a locker for like 2 minutes, it will find you in that locker.
That makes sense.
So you have to keep moving. Yeah. So imagine that in a part 2. And there's a lot of Twitch when I say we did it, I honestly feel like I did something because I'm supporting and I'm watching these Twitch streamers on YouTube where they modded the game to include like 2, 3, 4, up to 5 aliens at the same freaking time.
Oh my God.
It is so freaking... I love what the community is doing with this game. And it's like, if we can capture that, instead of making it a mod, but introduce it in an official part 2, that's what's got me most excited for a potential Alien Isolation 2.
They should make a mod where you could play as a predator and like actually like hunt it down and kill the damn thing.
The end. We killed it at mission 1. I wanted someone to mod it so that it could be one of the engineers from Prometheus stalking you. Get a human like sprite, make him a bit bigger, and just have him follow you like through the vents and stuff. That would scare the shit out of me, Yeah. If you've seen Romulus, if you know, you know. But,
dude, good movie.
Good movie. But Alien Isolation 2, I'm excited.
Have they said anything about the story? They just said plain out like, yes, we are working on a part 2.
I think
nothing about the story, right?
So I heard that they're going to disregard the events of Alien Blackout, which was basically a Five Nights at Freddy's inspired alien game where basically you still play as Amanda Ripley, but you're controlling doors.
No.
It was kind of fun. It was on the iOS exclusively. They were supposed to port it to systems, but they didn't to consoles. They didn't do that. This is supposed to ignore the events of that game, which is totally fine, and kind of hearken to what's become of the Alien franchise as of late. So I'm guessing that means the increased importance of the black goo, the engineers, basically Romulus, which again, I'm totally cool. Keep on, meshing together the games. There is a connective tissue through the games, and that seems to be the black goo from Prometheus. It even tied in Alien Resurrection, for Christ's sake, and no one liked that one. And now, in retrospect, Alien Resurrection kind of makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Speaking of Alien Resurrection, I showed you I bought the PS1, right?
He bought the PS1 game. Yeah,
so
that's right. Yeah.
I actually popped it in. Was it last weekend? And I was playing it. And dude, it's for a PS1 game. The graphics are pretty.
It's a Doom-like, right?
I wouldn't. No, it's actually horror based.
Oh wow.
Not like with the modern games, but
I take your meaning. Yeah.
It is. Well, it was one. It was if I remember correctly, somebody had said this. It was the first game to engage the 2 sticks as
the dual. Yeah.
That's what set the pace for Call of Duty and everything. And I was like, this game, huh? I was like, wow.
It all came from. This is the grandpappy of Call of Duty, so to speak.
So as I was playing it, of course, the PS1 were even more tankier with like shooting. You have that. It's like GoldenEye. You have to be like.
Yeah.
Accurate on the friggin' person if you're not using auto aim.
Yeah, it was a product of its time.
But dude, it was actually really good.
That's awesome.
And I want to play a little bit more. So I think once we're done with like Silent Hill and caught up with our games that we're trying to get through, that might be my next one I want to play because it was really interesting. But like I'm looking at,
we can potentially stream it.
Yeah.
Let us know if you want to see that.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But the gun, when I was looking at the gun, for the amount of graphics and the detail that were into it, I was like, this actually looks pretty cool. Like, I mean, like for a PS1 graphics, it looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, you mentioned Resurrection, so I just want to bring
that up. No, it's all relevant. It's your show too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just rumors, but there's a guy on Reddit who I think it's Dusk Golem, who was actually a pretty reliable leaker for going all the way back to Resident Evil 7, the rumors about Resident Evil 7. And he's been a pretty reliable leaker in the survival horror genre as of late. I think he's the one who mentioned, hey guys, there's an Alien Isolation 2 game coming out. And people are like, you're so full of shit. He's right. Sega came out. It's like, he's right.
I don't see why they, considering the success of the first one, I mean, why would you not make a part 2?
Well, it was kind of I think it was not well received at the time. I think IGN gave it a 6 out of 10. And recently they had the audacity to like defend that position. But people are still playing that game to this day. it's a landmark in horror gaming.
So wait, it
call it what
wasn't
it is.
received that well in the original?
Originally,
Like,
yeah, and the money wasn't. They didn't. I didn't think they made a whole lot.
And then all of a sudden, then
It became a cult classic, and then it became a cult classic, and then it was one of those things where Alien fans and non-Alien fans liked it. And now it's and then you got this reinvigorated interest in the Alien franchise, and so now it's become this thing where now you have people on Twitch streaming, me versus 5 aliens, yeah,
interesting. Okay.
yeah. It's like it's like Donnie Darko, horrible in the movie theaters, but it more than made up its sales with like DVDs.
Yeah.
It's like one of those situations.
So crazy, dude. Well, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alien Isolation 2, that was a game that's coming out, and we touched on this game quite a bit. Quiet Place. On a couple episodes ago, or maybe even 3. Where when we were going through it, it's basically reading off of your sounds, which the whole uniqueness of the game was, aside from it being like a horror-based stealth like game where you're trying not to get caught by the enemy.
Yeah.
One of the unique things that it brought in was supposed to be it hears what you're saying, or it hears any type of voice activity like from your mic.
Well, so when we talked about it, we saw the trailer, and in the trailer, the devs were like, "What's cool about it is that sound is going to be a big part, and you're going to have this device which is constantly detecting ambient noise. So, like if it's very quiet and you step on metal or glass, you're going to hear a tss. Those aliens are going to hear it. A Quiet Place, if you don't know, Quiet Place, it's an alien invasion, but not like guns and stuff. It's about like creatures that can only perceive using sound, and they basically annihilate the world. It's a post-apocalyptic world, so sound is important. And in this game, where sound is important, you got to watch where you're walking. Maybe you can carry like a bag of sand to like soften the brunt of the noise you're making. So sound's important. And but what they failed to mention was whether or not there was microphone support. And you and I were talking about that'd be kind of cool. But maybe is it copying Alien Isolation? Is it not?
Well, I mean, because Alien Isolation, did they listen to your mic?
Yes,
they did, right?
Yes. There's an option. I think in later updates they turned it off because people were like, "This is not fair." Especially Twitch streamers like, "Oh my god, I'm scared." Yeah. Okay, the alien's gonna find you pretty quickly. Sorry, I got a little dribble. No, but yeah, that's another thing about it that was kind of like a landmark. And we're like, what if you do that in Quiet Place?
Well, that would make the most sense, right? I mean, like, it would have to play. It would make the experience more. I agree. What's it called?
Immersive.
Immersive, yeah. Immersive. And that game should be coming out next year?
I think it's actually coming out within a couple of days, or maybe a week or two.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Right. And that's why I wanted to bring it back up. Like you and I and a lot of the community were talking about, this should have microphone support. If you're going to take a page out of Isolation, take the whole chapter. Take the microphone, and it looks like they did. The microphone option. It looks like they did, and so it looks like it's going to be pretty fun. And what scares me is that if you look here on like Mike's library, you have a lot of games here that you've never heard of, but you'll notice that a lot of these games, they came out within a week of like a landmark game. Silent Hill 2 has my complete and undivided attention, and I want you to play it. But a week or two from now, Quiet Place is coming out, and I think it is also worth your attention. So that's kind of what I would like to do. Just like, hey, also keep this on your radar, or at least on your wish list.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'll check that one out too.
Yeah. No,
I don't know if it's going to get a physical release, or if it's just digital.
It's hopefully there's some sort of physical release. If not, limited run will come in eventually. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
They've been coming in pretty clutch. Alan Wake 2. Sorry, I know this isn't on the docket, but it went a whole year and a half without a physical release, and then limited run came in clutch to do the physical. So it will eventually, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
It's kind of understandable from their perspective, because they wanted to hope that Alan Wake 2 was going to be perceived well. I mean,
they wanted all the development costs to go into the game itself.
Yeah. I mean, that might actually be because that's the way Baldur's Gate 3 was. Baldur's Gate 3 came out digital, and then they came out the physical, and they had their deluxe editions and all the collector's edition stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, let's see. So there's that game, Quiet Place. I feel like there's one we're missing that might be coming out soon.
There is a retro. Well, it's kind of like a modern retro.
Yes, the one I showed you. It what they call it, retro games or
I'll take a look.
bro. I forgot.
Oh no!
But anyways, this game it's going to be a 16-bit. It's going to be an old retro arcade-looking platformer game where you can play as Michael Myers and Ash from The Evil Dead. And it's pretty cool because you're Michael Myers and you're fighting all these enemies. It's not meant to be scary. It's just supposed to be more, I would say, not comical, but just
it's kind of comical. Yeah.
With that, yeah, I guess with Ash, because Ash has his little things that he does with his boomstick and
Here we go. Retro Realms Arcade, Halloween, and Ash versus the Evil Dead. Tried repeating that 5 times very quickly.
yeah.
But yeah, it's not a Metroidvania, but it is a side scroller.
No, yeah, it's just a side scroller beat 'em up kind of old school game. I would have brought this on the live feed, but I don't have. I think a bunch of them that I was seeing were just trailers, and they don't really. They weren't that good to show, but.
It does look pretty interesting though, because especially me, my favorite slasher. A lot of people like Jason and like
Freddy
and Freddy, but like my favorite slasher and usually one of my go-tos in Dead by Daylight is Michael Myers. I freaking love that guy. But the thing about it is that he is a slow killer. He's very slow, very stealthy. But in this game,
he's all like
he goes ham. He goes crazy. He does like little uppercuts with like a machete,
doing like a freaking shoryuken with his knife.
Yeah, or his kitchen knife became bigger all of a sudden. But he just goes ham.
Yeah. So that game looks, dude. It looks so much fun.
Yeah. No, it looks pretty freaking.
I love when people make games like that where it's just like, oh yeah, I can just jump into it and play and just like have some fun with that. So looking forward to that one. I think that one is it out already?
I think it'll be coming out soon if it's not already out. But there is the other half of it, the Ash versus Evil Dead part.
Yeah. So the first one, there you could play as Michael Myers, and I don't know about the plot. It's just about killing people. There probably is going to be a little story to it, but yeah. On the other side, you got the Ash Williams from The Evil Dead, where you're fighting the necro demons and using your boomstick and your chainsaw arm to freaking go and slash your way through all these enemies. And even the blood animations are pretty cool. It's like splattered everywhere, and I love that old retro blood.
October the 18th of this year.
Next Friday.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Silent Hill 2, amazing. Don't let it overshadow these other amazing, potentially amazing games.
Yeah. I mean, we are in the month of the spooky season, so there are a lot of games to play, and
there's a lot of spooky. There's a lot of horror stuff going on. It's just it's everyone is on point. Everyone's on fire. Everyone's bringing forward. Their what do you call it? They're firing on all cylinders, so to speak.
Dude, I really want to like have us, do a streaming session where we just get together, turn off all the lights, except for our faces, so where you can see us, but stream a horror game like Visage or freaking something like Outlast, or
right, of course,
just a game that's like truly like horrifying, and then we try to get through it.
Outlast has a multiplayer game now.
Yeah, they do.
Outlast Trials.
I wonder how that got that received, if it was well received or not.
I've heard good things, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, doing it with a friend, ride. Yeah, I'll trip the guy.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, and there are games where if you scream or if you get scared, then it takes you to the beginning of the game.
Really?
The whole purpose of the game is that they're throwing all these like jump scares at you to see if you're going to make a reaction.
Oh yeah,
and if you do make a reaction, you fail, and then you have to do it all over again.
That'd be kind of cool. There's an idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be pretty fun to play one of those. Or yeah. But
there's actually a pretty cool test. There's not a cool test. There's a game. You've seen Blade Runner, right? Or at least some parts of it.
I've seen. I've never seen the first one. It's been bits and pieces, but I've seen the 2049.
The only reason why I ask is because there's like a part where like the detectives they give you a test, and they basically, the point of the test is to ask you questions to see if you're a human being. There's a horror game which I need to remember the name of eventually. I'll supplement that later if possible. But basically, it's to ask you, like, are you a human being? How do you know the difference between, a human or a non-human, and as you go through the questions, more and more questions, then you hear music, like ominous music, and then you hear like breathing behind your back. And then it becomes more personal. It's like, are you alone in your room? Yes or no? Are you sure? Yes. Substantially? Do you want to look at your window one last time before answering that question?
Oh my God.
Yeah, no. And then the music gets louder and louder and more ominous. I'm not going to tell you how it ends, but like that is something I could see you playing, and me just kind of knowing what's going to happen. I could just be like,
yeah,
this guy,
dude. If I had to choose one thing that was like that would be truly terrifying for me, is that kind of thing, where there was a movie. Was it called Smile? I think it was Smile. But the whole scene that I love that really that is terrifying just to even think about. But that kind of thing, you get a phone ring and then somebody's talking to you and be like, "Hey, are you alone?" And then you're like, "Yeah." Are you sure?
Yeah.
Or why don't you turn around and turn around and it's like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah. It's like that. Turn around before answering this next question.
Yeah.
Dude. It's like,
oh, dude.
No, that's why it's so freaky. I remember seeing a Let's Play, I think a Markiplier of it, like maybe 5 years ago. And I'm like, I don't have the balls to do this.
Man, dude.
Oh my God. No. So if you want to see us play something like that, let us know. You know?
Dude. So funny thing. And one of my friends that might be listening to this, hopefully, would laugh at this. But when PT came out,
oh my God,
I could not. It was so scary to me that I could not play it. Like, I tried my best to get through it, but he was hanging out with me, and I'm like, bro. The only time I've ever done this, I was like, hey, you take the controller. I can't fucking do this. I'm a little bitch right now.
You want to know what's scary? Modders discovered after the fact that the ghost that kills you in that game, it's actually behind you the entire time.
Is it?
Throughout the entire experience, it's actually behind you.
Holy crap.
Yeah. It's including in the ending. It's right behind you. Except at some points when you hear the you hear I think you hear like a bell, like a clock chime, ding ding, it's 12 o'clock, and then you hear the ghost. That's the only time it's kind of disconnected from you, and then it can appear right in front of you.
That's crazy.
Oh my God, I got chills.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Oh, I got chills thinking about that.
You're scaring yourself. Oh my God.
Oh my God. That scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Imagine actually there's a lot of, I think, Unreal Engine free to play versions of that. So there's another possible game we can play.
No, they recreated in PlayStation Dreams. Yeah.
In Dreams.
So I don't know if you have to pay something to get it, but it is like a perfect recreation, if not probably like the source code just got slapped on there and they just made it.
I don't know how,
but it looks exactly.
But it looks amazing.
Yeah, dude, it's great. I mean, for people who are looking to play PT and never had a chance to, and always watching YouTube videos of people playing it, this may be your chance to go check it out.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, so great.
Oh my God,
one of the best horror, and it also set the pace for a lot of these other games coming out.
Yeah,
it was only a freaking demo.
It was a demo,
and it sparked like all these newcomers to come out, like Visage. I did Outlast come after, or was it before? Oh, Outlast was before.
Outlast was
I think it was before.
Yeah, and that was a running game. But Resident Evil 7 took so many beats off of that.
Yeah, you can tell.
It's Resident Evil 7. Yeah, people are like, oh, you should be ashamed of yourself. It's like, no.
I mean,
PT walks so that Resident Evil can run.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of like, actually, so a lot of people think Resident Evil 7 is bringing about like the second age of like horror games. I'm not going to go too big into it, but like, I guess really if Resident Evil got it from PT, really we have PT to thank for like this reinvigorated love for horror games, if you will, just call it what it is. It helped bring us back to an age where, it's separate from battle passes, loud shooters. There is money to be made with horror games, and even money aside, there is story, there's a lot of fun and experiences to be had through horror games. So really, it all comes from PT. So if you want to see us play a landmark game like that,
And that does bring up maybe this should be like the last topic of our episode, but
Absolutely, yeah.
since we were on the spooky season, this might be the perfect topic to end on. But the whole horror scene in gaming has exploded.
It's massive
since what it used to be back in the day.
It's crazy.
Because back in like PS1, even like from the old NES games like Friday the 13th or even Nightmare on Elm Street, even though they weren't scary, that was just more. It was still a horror game, but
right.
Nobody really cared so much about them. Not many of them were made. All the ones that were made were just like, the big titles like Silent Hill, Resident Evil. You have Fatal Frame.
Yeah, Fatal Frame.
Then you have the obscure.
What's the Squaresoft game?
Oh, Parasite Eve.
Clock
Dino
Tower.
Crisis. Yeah,
Home
Clock
Sweet
Tower.
Home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alone in the Dark.
Oh yeah, Alone in the Dark.
That was like the first golden age of horror video games.
Yeah, and then you had these underground games that were made too. But even in those times, there were some underground, not AAA rated games, but they were like AA.
Yeah.
Those were good too. But they weren't really not like a lot of people in the community received them. Like I said, the majority didn't receive it well. To where they were more focused on like action platformers, adventure games, and. Come to think of it, I just remember being in like GameStop or even Hollywood Video or Blockbuster, just like seeing these games on the shelves, and there was very little of them. Like I was excited to play them because I was like that little weird kid that loved to play horror games, and so I picked up Silent Hill, and that's why I'm so tied to that game. And dude, speaking of when that game came out in 1999.
I want to say so.
So
I can look that up.
I was 8 years old at that time. If it was 1999 and it came out during that, I was 8 years old, and my mom let me play my game. My dad was more of the one like, okay, if it keeps you quiet and away from me, then because I was a big pain in the ass. I was hyper all over the fucking place.
February the 23rd of 1999.
Yeah. See, so dude, 8 years old playing that game and. That might have contributed to why I'm so.
If you don't mind me asking, how did you seeing the little kids with the knives at Midwich Elementary or the shadow kids at the elementary? Did that scare the shit out of you?
Not really. So I wasn't really
balls of steel. This guy.
What scared me more was Clock Tower, honestly.
Wow. Okay.
But because in Silent Hill, like I was that little kid, like I want to kill everything. I'm gonna go kill these damn things. And now that I'm grown up and I actually. I didn't think of it. I didn't think of the story, pay attention to it too much. I just played it just to friggin' beat it and get through the game and power. That's just my thing. Like I play something and I beat it, and then that was my thing. But now that I can actually acknowledge the story and actually dissect whatever's going on, and now it has a lot more meaning. So if I come across it again, I'll be like, oh, that's so weird, and so it has a little bit more weight on it. But yeah, no, I just powered through it. I was just like, kill, and dude, yeah. So
fond memories, right?
Yeah, but back to the whole topic was being in like these the game stores and seeing like Fatal Frame there or Hollow. What's the one I'm trying to think of the one with the one that I have the one with the dog and the girl.
Haunting Ground.
That dude, it was on tip of my tongue. I couldn't think of it.
I still really want to play that. I need to play that.
These games were like $12. And nobody cared about them. They were going to be they're going to go to the freaking dollar store because they couldn't get sold. And then now, like ever since I feel, what would you say kind of really blew that up? I know PT played a big role in the modern era,
right?
But like, where would you say during the gaming eras? In which time that really
those took off
spiked that. I feel like it was in the PS3-ish.
Yeah.
Or maybe even PS, I don't know.
So I think you're right. So those games, they came out, they were sandwiched between other landmark games, but you still had at least a cult following, at least an underground, if you will. And then something happened in the PS3 era where, there was an invigoration towards like shooters, the introduction of the Battle Pass system, and
was that PS3 with the Battle Pass?
At least the
was good.
beginnings of it. I'm trying to get close to like Destiny and like Fortnite around the live service. There you go, live service. Let's go there. The live service area.
I still don't understand what this whole live service thing
Yeah.
means. Like, because there's different meanings. Like with like Helldivers, the live service
Yeah.
means that people can contribute to the game,
Right.
But I don't. That's a side topic. But
yeah, so there was definitely a focus towards multiplayer. Case in point, Resident Evil 5 was supposed to start out as a solo sequel to Resident Evil 4. Only one playable character. That's Chris Redfield. But then you got Halo, you got Call of Duty, you got Gears of War. All of a sudden, no. If you're gonna do a horror game, you got to make it at least co-op. I'm talking Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, Dead Space 3. All of those were. Resident Evil 5 did pretty, critically speaking, okay,
you know what?
when
Dead
it came
Space
out.
is a good one. Yeah, Dead Space.
But the third one was panned critically upon release. People did not like that, and yeah. So at this point, when there was like a big upset, with horror games, I feel like that's when it started. People are like, we got to go back to them olden days.
I do have one. Okay.
Fear. There you go.
Fear. Okay, so this game, dude, this one is actually one that really freaked me out, man.
They got to remake that.
Yeah, oh man, dude, if they could freaking
Dude,
just
when you're climbing
fly.
the ladders and then you got the girl.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna go back down.
Yeah. Nope. Fuck that. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to look for. I was like, I know I have a game that really contributed to that era, and obviously Dead Space was as well. That really, aside from, because at the time, Resident Evil 4 really like
Yeah, amazing.
brought out a new mechanic system, and then obviously Dead Space built upon that, but they kept the horror aspect to where everything was still kind of creepy. And then you got first person shooters where Fear was the first one of its kind to involve
Horror. Yeah.
It might not be I don't know.
Well,
know
you got
my
Condemned.
back
You
history.
got other.
Condemned was like I think that one was the first one that came out on the 360. It came out like when the 360 first came out.
that's
Right? It
early.
was one of the first games in that lot, and that was a great game. I remember playing that one, and but when Fear came out, that one just like elevated everything even more, because it was just, now you got this little girl, freaking scaring the shit out of people.
You have a John Woo like slow mo killer like Matrix, and then you got a little girl like hi, and then you got the cannibal Fettel.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But then something happened. Focus has changed, and then I think people were like, they wanted, make horror great, make horror gaming great again, so to speak. It's so I feel like, to answer your question, that's where people started flocking to these games that were underappreciated, and now when you go into the Tronics store or eBay, it's on the shelf for like $800 or above.
Dude, yeah. I mean,
Haunting Ground, Rule of Rose. The Thing, the original The Thing game,
just like Kuon. I was at the store, and that game is worth $800, and
no one liked it at the time.
Yeah, and then the receipt actually explains that. Like, in the time when it first came out, it was a $12 game.
So the game has a receipt.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
The guy kept the receipt and preserved it just to show, like,
Just
how much
to
it used
show.
cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when I was like, wow, yeah, I mean, I remember that, like $12 for the freaking games. Nobody really cared about horror games. It was a very non-respected or non-well received by the general gamers.
Absolutely.
And it's just hard to say. I mean, I would just point out, like, those games kind of really elevated it, or it could just be because of COVID and people just looking to make a big buck out of it.
That's true.
And then just that whole impression in itself, like, oh man, these games are worth a lot. Then why? Maybe I want to go try and revisit and emulate these games.
People stayed home, and people got. The reason why I discovered Silent Hill 2, if you watch our interview with the Leave ending, is because I was going through a rough place in my life and I wanted to feel something. Silent Hill 2 catered to that. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of people who wanted to feel something.
Yeah.
They've already played Silent Hill 2, Resident Evil, out of the wazoo. Haunting Ground. What's going on there? And that hits a lot of, especially for our female viewers, that hits a lot of dark.
That was a pretty
intimate
I still
stuff.
haven't even got the whole thing, but it's a good game. But damn, it's pretty dark.
It's very dark.
Much like Rule of Rose, obviously.
I saw some Let's Plays of like Haunting Ground, and the player, who I forget her name, God bless, but she was female. She's like, are they talking about that? Yeah, there's no way you can remaster that game nowadays. So it's like, people had cojones back in those days.
Yeah, but I mean, Yeah, so that could be also, or it could be just the new technology that we have nowadays, to where PT really kind of like set the pace, to where like Visage came out and all these other ultra realistic games that are.
That's true.
You got a lot of the indie developers starting to make these games as well.
That's true. Yeah,
maybe this, now that a lot of these people had ideas, and before you had to be on a team to be able to make a game. Now you got individuals who, oh man, I wish they could make a game off of this. I'm gonna build it myself.
Yeah, Hideo Kojima did say that. He said he had his own engine, the Fox engine, but he toned it down substantially to make it look like an indie game. And then he literally just did the whole game in a freaking hallway.
Yeah. Technically, yeah. It's a whole
one room,
one
room, one enemy, if you want to call it that, and pretty much it kind of Unreal Engine 4-ish graphics. I think you hit it right in the nose. I think that inspired a lot of people to like say, I think I could do it myself. Mm-hmm. I think you hit it right on the nose.
Yeah, because I mean, when I remember that when PT came out, that was in the PS4 era, and at the time, what was it? I know The Evil Within had came out from Shinji Mikami, and I think that was a PS3 release that got ported over to PS4, or it was PS4 release.
At the same time,
right? Because they were still making games for both systems.
Yeah.
So during that time, Evil Within was a great game. Then you had games like Bloodborne, which was a horror game if you think about it. It is horror, but it's more action based. But and then you had some other PS4 games as well in there, but they weren't really pushing the envelope on that.
Yeah.
And then PT comes out and blam, dude, like world phenomenon.
Yeah. And then that's you got PT that inspired a lot of,
and then all these other
indie games. You got Visage. There was one that was supposed to come out. It was like called Anna or Annabelle or Annabelle, but it was canceled, unfortunately.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I almost funded that Kickstarter. I almost donated to that one. And then there was like 4 or 5 other PT likes, if you will. Yeah. And then guess what? All of a sudden, you got Resident Evil, who they're like, you know what? We kind of messed up with Resident Evil 6, and we fell into the trap of wanting to do action and co-op. Let's go back to normalcy, and let's take a page out of PT, which is starting this new era of gaming. Yeah. Let's do Resident Evil 7, first person Resident Evil. That sounds almost ridiculous.
I know,
but it worked.
Yeah. That was one of the games where I was worried, but then they released that demo, and I was like, oh
my god, the demo
was really good.
Oh my god, you took me back to that,
dude. Just imagining when you encounter the what happened? It was the girlfriend, right? In that one, in the demo, I can't remember if the demo was different.
So the demo was different. Because the demo had a ghost.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So it was different, right? Okay.
Maybe the demo for the game. It was called VR, or it was called tape. It was called VHS tape or something. Oh my god,
dude! Yes, I remember.
Dude, people were calling it like So it was different in that they called it Resident Evil. So people were like, "You're just copying," and then they called it the tape.
Yeah, the people didn't realize it was a Resident Evil game until they beat it, right?
Oh, really?
I think that's where it was very vague.
Maybe streamers they let the cat out of the bag early because I knew. So.
I think that,
but it was called the tape or VHS or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to do, that like the whole PT route where PT didn't really explain what it was until the very end.
Yeah,
and then it was like, oh my god, it's a freaking Silent Hill game.
So I played the game without encountering the ghost. And then I saw some streamers encounter it, and so I replayed it, and I saw the ghost several times. And she doesn't appear in the main game itself, which is what made it even more freaky.
Yeah, it was different. Yeah, so that does remind me. Yeah, so they did. It was very vague at the beginning. When they released it, it was like the tape, and then we were like, oh, cool, we're getting another horror game. And then all of a sudden, at the very end, Resident Evil 6 coming out, or 7.
Yeah, and they're like, holy shit.
This is a fucking Resident Evil game?
Yeah, so it's like you learn from your mistakes, and you're also paying homage to PT, which again is lighting the path forward in gaming.
Yeah.
And now you got Resident Evil 7, 8, you got and because of the successes of 7, they remastered 2, 3, remade 2, 3, 4. They're fixing to do a 5 soon. It's kind of crazy. You can draw a straight line from PT all the way to the current age of the state of horror gaming right now. And now we got a Silent Hill 2 remake. You got Dead Space remake. Arguably didn't need it, but it got one.
Yeah.
I think it did good.
No,
you know?
I think so this is the thing, right? Like
Go for it.
One of the topics that we wanted to bring up as well. I know we're kind of come up pretty deep in the episode, but just real quick, remakes and the whole thing, the scene that's going on right now. Everybody's trying to do a remake of a game, right? There are some games that why would you do this certain thing? Why would you do a remake of that if it just came out on the PS4?
A lot of games, yeah.
Yes, like that's so stupid. Like why would you do it if it just came out on the PS4? But Dead Space, I know it came out on 360 and the PS3.
Yeah.
But the game already looked great in that time. But I love that they brought it into this era because, dude, with the way that you interacted with the enemies and how you dismember them and stuff, dude, like there is so much that these Unreal Engines, or I don't know, I can't remember if it was, does it say Unreal Engine on there?
I'll take a look, but go ahead.
But the engine that they built it off of was, dude, you can see all the particular details on it. So I appreciate that.
It's
like,
definitely a beautiful game.
So they did a really good job with that one. And then obviously, Silent Hill 2, was a PS2 game, which definitely could use an upgrade because it was very, grainy.
Even at the time, Silent Hill 2 was kind of panned for its, mechanics and graphics at the time.
Oh yeah,
its only saving grace was the story. But now, and with modern gaming, you got a good story and you got good graphics.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, but definitely they need to do the Silent Hill 1, and people are asking for 4 more than anything.
Frostbite. That's what they did for Battlefield.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes sense.
EA. So it's a Battlefront. Battlefield.
Frostbite. My God,
that makes sense.
That's crazy.
But yeah, man. I'm kind of eager to see what other games are going to be coming out with. There are remasters. So like Clock Tower remaster, the original Clock Tower, not the first.
They're remaking it. No, or is it a remaster? It's still point and click.
I thought it was Limited Run's releasing a remastered version of it for the Switch. The original Clock Tower, not the one that was on PS1. That's not the original.
Okay.
Yeah, this one, the original Clock Tower was following a girl inside of this mansion or this house, or I never played it, but I saw the gameplay. And the PS1 Clock Tower, you're actually running away from the guy with the scissors. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one.
Yeah.
And
Clock Tower Rewind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great game. But I would love to see that in a different, modern setting. That would be interesting.
Absolutely.
But
wow. Yeah. No. Remakes. There's a lot of them that doesn't need. A lot of games that do not need remakes. Until Dawn is getting a remake, even though it came out.
I don't understand that.
It came out in the middle of the PS4 era of gaming. If you're gonna update it for the PS5, at least do what you did with. So this is an appeal to Sony. Do what you did with Last of Us Part 2, where it's like, okay, you've updated the graphics, it looks good. Hayden Panettiere looks even better than she did before. Okay, charge us like $5-10. Okay, that's fine. Don't charge us $70 for the same exact game and then give us a little different, an extra ending just to put as a cherry on top. It's not necessary.
Yeah,
my PS5 can still play the PS4 version very well, and it's still a great game. But if you're going to add something substantive, like a different way of approaching it or a different way of appreciating the game, Dead Space, Silent Hill, Resident Evil 4, for Christ's sake, I actually disagreed with that game. I was upset that they were remaking that, but they changed enough of it to make it somewhat original, and it was great. It earns it. It's arguably better than the original. Until Dawn does not need a remake.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
That was dumb. And even Horizon, like Zero Dawn, that was a more
that PS4 era. That's
PS4. I
mean, doesn't need a remake.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They just want to add the ray tracing to everything and all that fancy stuff. So it's like, okay, all right, I'm not paying that much for that game.
Yeah.
I'll wait for it to be on sale on Black Friday for like $20.
But well, that's not a horror game, so we don't got to worry about that.
But yeah, man. I mean, I think that's a good wrap on the horror scene.
Pretty much, yeah. We're having fun. We're having fun doing this podcast, and obviously we have a lot to on our plate right now. We're having fun playing those things. So
yeah. Do we have any? I think this might be a good time to close out. I mean, do we have any other final thoughts on anything?
Just thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I guess hours, but I just for coming with us on this digital quest. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you made it this far, again, a simple like. That's all we ask for. If you can do more, like, comment, subscribe, follow.
Yeah.
That would mean the world to us too. But a simple like will push us on the algorithm, and it'll push us to greater heights. And it only takes half a second. If you can do that for us, we already love you as is. We will love you even more.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for all the love and support. We appreciate it.
For sure. Yeah. So it definitely helps us out, like he was saying, like doing the like, comment, subscribe. I mean, wherever you're on, whatever platform you're listening to, just take the time to if you get value out of this, just give us a little support there. And either way, we appreciate you listening. So we are gaining more traction, as we said in the beginning. So we are looking forward to what the future holds, and we have a lot of ideas coming into play, and it's fun. I love it, man.
I'm having fun.
I love the talks.
I'm having fun.
But
all right.
Well, that's it, guys. But y'all have a nice evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time y'all are listening on this at. But y'all take care.
Bye bye.